A nice yellowtail coming to Gaffer, Game Fisher Ensenada in beautiful Ensenada, Baja California. Meanwhile, Carlos Cortez from Cortez Sport Fishing out of Popotla, Baja California, hammering the yellows this morning at the Coronado remains Island. Excellent in San Francisco, California. Lovely Martha Sport Fishing with limits of striped bass and 4 halibut to go along with it. It has been steady and it's still in Ensenada, and the Bluefin Tuna are back on the bite again. Nice great fish for Sammy Susore Amador. Trolled Mad Mac lures as well as small shiny lures are getting the job done. Nice, great fish. Weather improving. The Bluefin are back. Please don't forget to support the Friedman Adventurers family members who make this all possible, like the taxman, Tim Marquez, and your garage door man, Joe Welker, who does a great job and gets rave reviews here at Friedman Adventures. Heating and or air conditioning needs, it's our dear friend, John Lopez, and also the Island Spirit, Ventura Sport Fishing. You can't beat it. Chris Isaac and the El Patron out of Long Beach Sport Fishing, www.longbeachsportfishing.org.
Hi, this is JR with the Fibbers. You know what time it is?
It's time for the morning briefing.
Get out of bed and wake up the kids, 'cause you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Fishing reports up and down the coast with Phil Friedman, your coffee-loving host. So much fishing intel, it feels like cheating when you tune into the morning briefing. Inshore, offshore, from the surf, bluefin, yellowtail, pod, surf, perch. They'll tell you where the fish are and what they're eating when you tune into the morning briefing. So give it a like and subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified of all the fishing content coming your way. Friedman Adventures is here to make your fishing day. It's a morning briefing, morning briefing.
Good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to absolutely beautiful Surfside, California, this lovely Sunday morning. I hope it finds you really well because there is so much going on in sport fishing that I'm going to bring you up to date on. Of course, we'll go south of the border, not only look at the long-range boys, but we'll take a look at our Pongero brothers and sisters in Mexico and San Quintin and Ensenada. There's some really good fishing going on. And the wind and the weather, we need to talk about that. Most of the really bad stuff is out of the way, but it remains breezy, so you're going to have to put up with some breeziness, especially offshore. But man, what a show on the Bluefin and the Coronado Islands, looking so good. Barracuda biting for the Monte Carlo. The El Patron arriving at Catalina Island. Our very own Nick Ramirez headed out on the native sun to see if they can catch some sand bass and barracuda today. And of course, some really great Friedman Adventure family members taking kids out and showing them how great a resource and really a blessing this truly all is. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God, this is that good or what? I want to thank all of you. So many of you at the Orange County Fair who came by and said hello. I'm right across from Baja Blues in a little beer stand there. This could be my farewell tour at the fair. I've enjoyed the many years that I've spent there and am thoroughly enjoying this one. Also, I hope you get to come by and say hi. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos everywhere. make sure you subscribe to the Freeman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that rotten, filthy, disgusting, deplorable little bell, and you'll be notified when there's new content. Also, you can follow us over there on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. It is really great to be back with you all. Let's check this water temperature out. Really a scientific method of doing so. We do every morning. Feels pretty nice, feels pretty warm, and it is beautiful here. There is not a breath of wind here. It's a gorgeous morning. Man, this is some really good looking surf fishing water. If you ask me, I wish I were doing it right now. Let's get into it. We'll go south of the border. Let's talk about what's going on down there at Cedros Island. You know, it hasn't been the same kind of year as it normally is. Normally it's lights out yellowtail fishing, and it has not been that. And that kind of trend is continuing, picking a few yellows here and there. There's still that white sea bass and halibut in the mix. You can catch some black sea bass down there, and also the calico bass bite has been pretty good. 140 miles down below the border, we've got the beautiful coastal town of San Quintin. Another nice gentleman going by there. San Quintin, Baja California. And man, I'll tell you, down there the yellowtail fishing has been really great. That weather is coming down because we had some really windy weather down there the past 48 hours or so. It's come down substantially offshore. That's still up. By the way, offshore there's bluefin, and there's some yellowfin, and there's some dorado. Not a lot of the yellowfin and the dorado, but it's creeping in there. We have a hurricane, looks like it's going to form down below Cabo and maybe push some more warm water this way, and ultimately some of those tropical species. Only time will tell on that. But good yellowtail fishing down there in San Quintin. Surface iron, yo-yo iron, bait, you name it, they've been biting. Ensenada, Baja California, Paulina, my co-host when I'm in Ensenada, is jumping on a panga this morning with our dear friend Foca and her lovely mother Berenice. And we'll see how they fare. They're going to go offshore and see if they can't catch a bluefin tuna or two. And the BFT are biting down there again. Out of Ensenada, there's been great bluefin tuna fishing. A lot of that 20 to 40 pound fish. And you'll see foamers of fish. It's really exciting fishing. Throwing one of those poppers. Tuna Riot poppers work so good. They're so well constructed. TunaRiot.com. Get some today because they work on these foamers. That's one way to do it. Also, trolling the Mad Mac type lures around have been super effective way to make things happen. So we've seen nothing short of some really good signal, and that's getting better and better. I think today is going to be a pretty good day. There's kelp patty yellowtail in the area also, and around Todos Santos Island. We've seen good barracuda fishing, good yellowtail fishing. It's all really looking good. Only 70 miles south of the border. I hope you can get down there really soon. Also, on the other side of the border, some of the long-range boys have been dealing with wind and weather also, but they've been plowing through it with great catches of yellowfin tuna and yellowtail. Outstanding fishing for all the guys on those 8-day trips right now. They've been doing absolutely fantastic. It doesn't seem to want to slow down one bit at all. There's been occasional wahoo, not any big numbers, out there at Alijos Rocks along with the yellowfin and the yellowtail. So you do see that from time to time, but mostly it's those two species. Also, however, guys will go in on the beach on their way home back to San Diego, and they'll come up with a good catch of sand bass, sometimes some calico bass, some halibut, some white sea bass. There's that in the mix also. So that is really great fishing on our long range situation. Taking a look at the bluefin tuna situation here off of our coast, down the coast. Well, I mean, let's just give you the idea of how big this stretches. It goes from several hundred miles below the border to Monterey, California, and north of there, we're hearing fish. Now, there's bluefin tuna absolutely everywhere. That fishery is in such great shape. If you've been out on a recent trip and seen one of those massive foamers that come up, they're so excited when you roll up on that. It's a spectacle of nature. And man, your hunting instincts just all kick into gear when you see something like that. It's so cool to witness that. And it tells you that the ocean is in very good and healthy shape with regard to the bluefin tuna around here. Now, I mentioned to you that we're still dealing with some breezy weather. Totally fishable, don't get me wrong, okay? But it does result, it seems like, or has resulted, in a few bad scores that are not impressive at all, very, very poor. And then we see some really good scores. And it seems like we're coming out of that really nasty windy weather, and we're just starting to rebuild and starting to catch more and more bluefin as we go along. There's a daytime bite. There's a lot of that 20 to 40 pound fish in the daytime. There's bigger fish too, kite fish and also fly line fish. So you gotta be careful when you're choosing your fluorocarbon. Sometimes you can't get a bite unless you drop down to 25, and that's fine on 20 to 40 pound grade tuna. You can catch them bigger than that. Choose a good hot bait, whether it's a chovy or a sardine, depends on what you get at the bait receiver. However, if you can bump that fluoro up, do it. You want to fish as heavy as is possible, because, you know, I've seen it a million times. You're in that 20 to 40 pound grade fish and you hook a 100-pounder and you can kiss it goodbye if it's on 20-pound fluoro, or in very rare circumstances will you catch a fish like that. Polaris Supreme, Pacific Queen, hammering on the bluefin tuna on their current multi-day trips. Really good stuff. Voyager on a day and a half trip, 14 yellows, 2 bluefin tuna. The Pacific had a great day with a lot of fish going at the same time. Multiple hookups on the Pacific in a daytime bite that really looked fantastic. The El Dorado had several bluefin tuna going. I think 3 up there in the bow. And man, I'll tell you, it really looked good. And so, as I say, there's fish around Santa Barbara Island, San Nicolas Island, backside of San Clemente, Tanner Cortez, off Ensenada. There's fish down below around Cedros, outside of there, I should say, offshore. It's really a big stretch of fish, and we need to get back to some decent, normal weather. But it's going to stay breezy for at least the next 48 hours. Let's just take it like that. It's projected to stay breezier longer than that, but it may get downgraded. We'll keep our eyes on it. Nighttime with this weather, 400 and 500 gram jigs, I would have them with you just in case. Like a 16 or even 20 ounce Eddie bomb could come in very handy, keeping you vertical, which is so very important, getting you down when the captain tells you to drop on time. All of those factors are the difference between catching and not catching. Keep that in mind, and you're going to do really, really good. Let's look at our island bite. You got to love what's going on at the Coronado Islands down in San Diego. By the way, you need a passport to fish the Coronado Islands. If you're near any Mexican landmass, I think it's 12 miles. If you're within that, you have to have a passport. Just mentioning that to keep you on the right track, because it's fantastic. You know, we checked that Coronado Island yellowtail bite for you by going to our Mexican Ponga sources and then looking at what the San Diego-based guys are doing. And they're both getting them. Carlos Cortez out of Cortez Sport Fishing. He's in Popotla, which is a 15-minute drive south of Rosarito Beach. He's there, and he's been hammering the yellows. Had limits of forkage yesterday. Nice hit for Carlos. Thanks for sharing all your great info with me, Carlos. I really appreciate it. Also, we've seen San Diego-based boats hammering on the yellowtail there at the Coronado Islands. It's really been good. Mission Bell, 27 guys, 42 on the yellowtail. Sea Watch, 17 guys, 72 yellowtail. The Malahini had 30-some yellowtail yesterday. Some really nice fishing going on. The Old Glory, I don't know if he hit a kelp or he was at the islands. 72 yellowtail yesterday. Really great Coronado Island yellowtail fishing going on. Some really big quality fish at San Clemente Island. We continue to see some huge fish taking on dropper loop live squid on the backside of the island. Also, there's some decent fish on the front side of the island. There's a mix of sea bass and yellowtail. Sometimes it really gets going, and other times you're picking at it and then catching calico bass and yellowtail. At Catalina Island, the El Patron's been catching some yellowtail. They had 7 the other day. They're picking at barracuda, calico bass. There's more yellow starting to show up. The El Patron goes every morning at 5 a.m., comes back at 5 p.m. They run twilight trips. Tonight they'll have a twilight trip. They go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. El Patron, www.longbeachsportfishing.org. Get on the El Patron. And then we move you up to Santa Barbara Island, the Channel Islands. They're still dealing with wind up there, but they are managing to put some scores together, and that only tells me there's a lot of rockfish up there. You know, a lack of white sea bass. There was a few good halibut scores, more rockfish. That's the wind that's entering into this right now. but hopefully that wind will get out of the equation again for the next 48 hours. Fishable, but breezy, no doubt about it. Aloha spirit, 14 guys, 20 halibut. I don't know how you can beat that, man. You look at the history of sport fishing in SoCal, and that's a darn good, respectable score. You know, you look at the last few years, we've had such great halibut fishing. The bar is way up here. I get it. You're thinking that's not that great, but I just refuse to accept that. Gray light, only 5 guys on there, 14 halibut. This is what I'm talking about. 3 white sea bass. How on God's green earth can you beat that? And once again, we continue to see some really excellent rockfish. You have that whole mix of rockfish going on up there in the Channel Islands. We go a little bit further north up there, Avila Beach, Morro Bay. They have great rock fishing going on up there. San Francisco, continued excellent fishing up there on stripers and also on halibut. It's been great. Lovely Martha Sport Fishing. Several other operators have been doing fantastic. Up there in that neck of the woods, we're going to look at our local bite right now as I see some dolphin off there playing around. That is really cool stuff. What a good background for you. Hopefully you'll see those little devils. Also, down there in San Diego, our calico and sand bass bite really is backed off. We told you that even the local bite seems to have taken a step backwards here recently, picking at a few bass here and there. The dolphin did have a white sea bass half-day boat out of Fisherman's Landing up there around Dana Wharf. Really good calico bass fishing. It was excellent fishing. And then we get you up here in our sand bass bite, definitely sputtering. Some guys had some good scores. Other guys did not. The freelance had a good day on the sand bass fishing, while at night the Western Pride had very good fishing. Native Sun had a slower day yesterday, but the Monte Carlo came through with 118 barracuda yesterday afternoon. The morning they had 80 people, so they said, let's go sculpin fishing. They did that. The afternoon, a $1.18 on the gar. Man, those are the fish you throw that surface iron on, and it is so much fun. It's such great practice to learn how to fish the iron. Tatty 45 will work just fine on those barracuda, and man, oh man, I'm so happy to see them around. They also had a handful of calico bass. I believe Daphne is on board the Monte Carlo today, or the Native Sun, I'm not sure. I know that Nick Ramirez is heading out, and they're going to start in the Huntington Flats, try to get a sand bass bite going on, and then move to the Horseshoe and see if that gar won't bite for them. Bring a surface iron with you, and if you have a longer jig stick, bring it and have some fun. You don't want to fish the iron. You know, you can fish 25 if you want. I wouldn't fish anything less than 40-pound. Maybe we'll start to see some local yellows here. Also, as we move you up in the Channel Islands, they've had pretty good fishing up there, even up to Santa Barbara on sand and calico bass. That's backed off here in the wind, obviously, but once that wind subsides, I think we're going to get back to some really good fishing here in the Southern California coast. It's a gorgeous morning, a beautiful day for you to come down and experience this down there by that water tower. You see it right there, Anderson and PCH. Guys are catching spot fin croaker, and they've been doing it on the low tide. The key has been sandworms. That's what they've been using with a very, very long cast. That seems to be working well. This is great looking Corvina water. If you ask me, those Corvina are foraging in the real shallow water. A foot or two of water, you'll find those beans. Sometimes you'll see them up finning. Pretty good stuff. Some bar perch are up there in the Long Beach area. We continue to see a few halibut up there, and we're also seeing some decent yellowfin croaker fishing up there around Santa Monica, the El Porto area, the El Segundo area. That's been pretty good. Santa Monica Pier has been okay between the Hermosa and Manhattan Beach Pier. There's a pretty good amount of corvina and some sand crabs there for you to partake of. And down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway, they are Southern California's surf fishing headquarters. But besides that, they've got all kinds of stuff for your offshore fishing. They've got some new tungsten jigs in, the jigs that are super heavy, get you down fast, perfect for these breezy conditions coming up. They're hard to come by sometimes, and they've got them right now at Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Highly recommend you get down there and give that a shot. Want to talk about a couple of great Freedman Adventure family members, or a group, the Fibbers Christian Fishing Club. Costa Mesa, California. We're out of Dana Wharf sport fishing yesterday, showing kids the beauty of being on the water, getting them off their phones, which is so detrimental to their physical and mental health. So great to get them out. My hat's off to you at the Fibbers Christian Fishing Club. Sorry about the glare there on this morning's show. And also, we had Isaac Parcells, who is a fantastic Freeman Adventures family member. Isaac and his family are fantastic. Isaac took some kids out to the lake yesterday to catch them their first fish. Isaac, Fibbers, way to go, making the world a better place. One kid at a time. I gotta love that. All right, my friends, we're getting back on track on the Bluefin. I'm telling you, the Supreme and the Queen are hammering on the Bluefin. We had some really great daytime action yesterday, as evidenced by the Pacifica. The El Dorado had some bluefin also. Things are looking much better. We need to get away from the breeze, and hopefully we'll be able to do that very, very soon. Have a great one. As always, I can't thank you enough for all of your great support, and I hope to see you really, really soon.